Kia ora tato. In the headlines for Friday the 5th of April, rough numbers are emerging for the possible cost of the loyalty scheme for Mighty River Power shares. The government expects at most it will be 4% of the share value allocated to Kiwi investors, which is likely to be between $2.35 to $2.80, according to offer documents released today. Finance Minister Bill English says Kiwis can get up to 200 bonus shares, and relevant risks are set out in the offer documents.
Drought or the risk of change in prices for electricity. Some have been less obvious, such as the uncertainty around the Tiwai aluminium contract. So it's up to investors to weigh those up.
The Labour Party insists that the Christchurch Cathedral should be restored, even though more financially viable options have been presented. Grant Robertson says Cantabrians want the cathedral back in its original form, and that's what matters. Anglican church leaders say they will consider public opinion when deciding between a contemporary and traditional alternative to full restoration. Kiwi teenagers seeking a tan will have to rely on fake products or the sun. The government has decided to ban the use of sunbeds for anyone under 18 years old. MP Joe Goodhue says there's global evidence that using sunbeds before the age of 30 hugely increases the risk of skin cancer.
So many other ways you can have a tan. The sort of products you can buy across the counter at chemists these days, or spray tans, etc. Hopefully they'll go for those other options.
A decade and $300 million later, New Zealand has officially ended its deployment in Afghanistan. Our national flag, as well as the United States and Malaysian flags, were lowered for the last time in a ceremony at the NZDF base in Bamiyan province. The 10-year operation has cost 10 Kiwi soldiers their lives, but the military is confident it has contributed substantially to Afghanistan's security and development. 2 million leaked documents and emails from offshore tax havens have exposed the identities of thousands of European account holders. That includes the family of the President of Azerbaijan and French President François Hollande's one-time campaign treasurer. The breach mainly affects the British Virgin Islands and the Cayman Islands. The United States expects North Korea will launch one of its missiles in the coming days. While many analysts suggest Pyongyang can't carry out a nuclear strike against the U.S., Washington doesn't believe those are idle threats, and it's ramping up its defense system in Guam. South Korea says the North seems to have readied a Musudan missile capable of carrying a nuclear warhead to Japan, but not the American continent. Russia considers Pyongyang's actions as a gross negligence of UN Security Council resolutions against the non-proliferation of WMDs, and it has urged Pyongyang to return to diplomacy instead. And Iran's nuclear ambitions are being discussed today. The 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, plus Germany, are back in Almaty, Kazakhstan, for talks with Iranian officials. They've proposed easing international sanctions if Tehran cuts its uranium enrichment activities. However, Iran's chief nuclear negotiator has reiterated his country's right to continue what it maintains is a peaceful nuclear program. The President of Argentina has announced a 3-day period of mourning. President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner's hometown of La Plata was flooded by record rainfall on Wednesday, trapping residents in their cars and homes and causing millions of dollars worth of damage. More than 50 people lost their lives in the floods. And finally, the British Library is on an urgent mission to capture and preserve the ever-changing internet. For centuries, it has kept a copy of every book, pamphlet, magazine and newspaper published in Britain. And from tomorrow, new regulations will enable it and 5 other UK libraries to record the nation's digital memory. That means archiving and providing long-term access to the entire UK web, including every British website, e-book, online newsletter and blog. Well, that's today's news. Kanuing ang karere mato amaite fare korero rima moriora.